Okay, welcome everybody. This is our team motivation team call, and it is Thursday night on the 18th. And tonight we have a awesome guest speaker, my very good friend Angie Hunt. She lives here in Michigan with me. Angie is
I live in her basement.
Yeah, there you go. She's a troll. She's been with Beachbody for about 4 years, right, Angie? About 4 years. She is a diamond coach, but you have been a 2-star.
Correct.
So working towards that again. I know she's gonna hit that fast. She's a Success Club All-Star legend. 48 months. Whoop whoop. And she's also actually very good friends with Janelle Summers. They grew up together in Grand Rapids, which is very cool. So I know Angie through, multiple points, but I think we met at a Super Saturday through Michelle Schnelker. Isn't that right?
I think we met in person, but I met you on a Zoom call doing a power hour.
That's right.
That was my first experience with a power hour and with you. So.
Oh, hey, there you go. And since then, we've met at Super Saturdays. Nice.
You're taking a picture, so I'm posing.
Good job. and we've also we've met in Ann Arbor a couple times, which is a town here in Michigan that's kind of in between both of us, or we hang out. So. But anyway, Angie is going to talk to us tonight about some really great stuff, how she uses free groups to help create people to talk to get traffic, and also some of the apps that she uses to do a lot of the stuff on her phone. Angie is actually a whiz with phone apps, and I love all the stuff that she shares because I'm always like, oh my God, show me what you're using. She can do like Photoshop in 2 seconds with an app. I'm like, okay, you got to talk about this stuff because I need to know. So anyway, I'm going to turn the floor over to Angie and take it away, sister.
Okay. So yeah, where am I? Like she said, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about free groups and how I use them to build my network. And it's really kind of been a super resource for me to, without having to pay, Facebook for leads and things like that. This has been a huge resource to grow my friends list, grow the people I'm talking to. And some groups I've had have gotten so big that I struggle. There's one group that I did back in November that I'm still messaging people because it was like several hundred people. That was my Planksgiving challenge. And I've done it twice. And each time I'm like blown away. Why do people love planking? I don't know. But for the whole month, they're the easiest groups to run. I've created the images and things like that. And I'm going to share a little bit about that with you, how I save my materials and things that I'm using, and then I can just repeat that same group next month. So my ultimate goal is to have a free group that I run every January, every February, every March, April, you know what I mean, down the road, so that I can literally just plug and play every single January. I'm going to do my, which one do I do in January? My, I can't remember what I did in January, but November, I did Planksgiving. This month, I'm doing a Healthy Kids 101 free group. Last month, I kind of went a completely different direction and did a spring cleaning / minimalism 101 group because it was something I wanted to learn about. So let me just jump in and show you kind of how I do this. I'm going to share my screen. Give me 1 second to get that switched over. And let me know if this works out okay.
Yep.
Can you see my screen right now? Okay. I forget. Okay, here we go. Okay, you see that?
Yep, it looks great.
Okay. So running free groups, running free challenge groups. That's me. Okay. So I'm just going to cover, these are the things I'm going to cover. First of all, why free groups can be so super helpful, some of the different types of free groups that you can do, how to run a free group, and then what do you do after you do a free group. So why do a free group? Like I said, this has been such a great way for me to build my network and start to build a community, because so many of the groups that I'm running are based on the things that I'm interested in. So if I have people joining my free group because they are also interested in that, then obviously we are going to connect in some way, shape, or form. This is a way for me to provide value without asking anybody to purchase anything, and build trust with people. This is where I do a ton of relationship building, because, like we've heard a thousand times, that people that join your challenge groups and eventually join your teams are people who know, like, and trust you. So I really pour a lot into these free groups because I want people to get to know me, like me, and trust me. And this, I feel like the free groups give the people who are in that free group a glimpse of what a full challenge group would be like. So maybe they've heard me talk about what, my next challenge group or something, but they don't really know me that well. They don't really understand what a challenge group is. But once they do a free group with me, they're like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, I just show up and she posts these free tips, and, this is kind of awesome. Hopefully that's what they would say. So some of the different types of free groups that I've done or that you can do, obviously there's a lot of, health and nutrition types of free groups that we've done. Clean eating. I did so many clean eating groups when I was first running these types of groups that I kind of got sick of it. So I haven't done just a clean eating, just a, strictly clean eating group in a while, because I felt like that was also something that a lot of other coaches were doing. And granted, my circle is coach heavy, so I see a lot more of that than probably the people who are following us really see. But either way, I kind of got burnt out with clean eating, so I started kind of branching out a little bit. Like I mentioned, the Planksgiving group that I did, I literally just took the concept from, it was either Pinterest or like those pop sugar type things. I created an image, a graphic, and every day I just changed, like today's plank is 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then, day 34, there's not 34 days in November, day 24, the time. So, it took me literally 3 seconds to do in PicMonkey, which is my go-to app website that I do most of my photo editing. There is an app, but I like playing with it on my computer more. It took such a short amount of time to put together. And now that I've saved all the posts, I've saved all the pictures, and I can put it all in Postcron, and that group literally runs itself. I go in and I comment, and I just focus on the relationship part of it at that point. The group just goes, and I comment on people's posts, and I reach out and message and things like that. So workout, and I've seen people do like butts and guts or abs and whatever. Just get on Pinterest or, like I said, Pop Sugar, and you can get some inspiration from those different websites. So some other things I've done, I do a salad challenge. I think that'll probably be my free group next month, where we just try to eat a salad every day. And I, of course, share some of my favorite salad recipes. I show them how to make your own salad dressing. I show them how to make salad jars, like the mason jar salads. So it's all just salad. I've made like a soup and stew free ebook that I do in the fall. So that's another group I've done. Crock pot, Instant Pot. Obviously, Jen knows all about that. So no shortage. And then, like I said, minimalism and spring cleaning. That was just something that I wanted to know more about. So I thought, well, why don't I just run a group? It'll force me to do some research and some work on it. And that group went so well. I made some challenges where if they showed a before and after picture of their cleaning project, so if their goal was to clean out the refrigerator, if they shared a before picture of the refrigerator and then an after picture, they earned points for the challenge, and then I gave away a prize at the end. And people got so into, there were different levels of points that they could earn if they cleaned a whole room versus just cleaning out like a kitchen drawer or something like that. I had this whole thing that I made up. So like I said, I really do put a lot into these groups because I want them to have an amazing experience. So some other types of groups are things that you have figured out. So I feel like I have really figured out how to be a better meal planner, just from being a coach and doing it myself. And we take these things for granted because we do it, but usually people are kind of dumbstruck when you start sharing some of these things with them. They don't do this. They don't typically sit down and plan meals every week like I do, or like you might. So, definitely don't underestimate, the little bits of knowledge that you have accumulated. There are people out there that want to know what you're doing. Packing lunches, that's a part of the group that I'm doing right now with Healthy Kids. Actually, today was my day all about packing kids' lunches. So again, something that we've worked a lot on as a family. My kids really kind of pack their own lunches. And again, people are kind of like dumbfounded that my kids pack their own lunches, but it's just what we do. And people want to know, how did I do that? How did I make my kids pack their own lunches? And then things that I'm working on, I've done a 5 a.m. wake up group where I suffered for an entire week because I am not a morning person, but it was something still continues to be something that I've tried to work on. So in that group, the goal was you had to wake up and post in the group the second you woke up, even if it was just a dot, so that we all knew that you were up. And then if you could, write what you were planning to do with your extra time. Were you going to work out? Were you going to do a little bit of work? Were you going to journal, meditate, whatever? I've got coaches who have successfully done some personal development book clubs that are kind of fun, and things that you're good at. So do you know a lot about beauty? It's funny how all of this is like happening right now. One of my coaches is doing a clean beauty group right now. She's really she used to be, in her former life, she was a consultant for one of the big, like Clinique or something like that. I think it was Clinique. So that's a passion of hers. She knows a lot about that. And she's also very into clean living like products that are clean. So she's talking a little bit about making your own beauty products and things like that. So it doesn't always have to be health and fitness related. And I would actually encourage you to branch out and do something that's not health and fitness related, because that does help you tap into your community, the people who aren't yet into health and fitness, but they might really want to know how to make a face mask out of paper. There's paper in front of me. So I am a runner, and I've done multiple different running groups, teaching people how to get started, how to train for different events. And sometimes I'll just do challenges, like a month-long challenge where everybody sets a goal to run, maybe it's 20 miles that month or 50 miles that month. Run, walk, skip, I just always say however you want to travel those miles, but those groups are always a big hit as well. And I've used those to really get to know a lot of people. I have a lot of people from those groups that I've built good relationships with. So how to run free groups. So the first step is going to be to plan. I typically run one per month. So you want to pick your topic and decide if it's going to be a 5-day group, a 7-day group. Right now I'm doing a 3-day group, but I'm posting 3 times each day in that group. So, you can just kind of mix it up and do whatever you want to do. The next step would be to figure out how you're going to invite. I suggest creating an event page, and I'll show you how to create a Google form. If you want, you can promote it or boost it. Oftentimes I'll just put like $10 on it. Sometimes I'll do more, but if you boost it, then that's another way for you to kind of branch outside of the people who are already connected to you, your friends and people who already follow you on your like page if you have one. So that boost kind of helps because you can narrow down who's going to see that event notification. And of course, personal invites you're going to want to send. I have no issues at all about inviting people to a free group because it's a free group. I'm not asking them to buy anything. And my rule of thumb is if you are my friend on Facebook, however we became friends, I'm going to probably message you at some point. And that's just the way it is. And I don't even feel weird about it anymore. I used to, but thanks to Jen, doing that first power hour with her was like super eye-opening to me, where I just was like, why am I so nervous to message people? They're my friend. I don't know why. Sometimes I've never even talked to this person, but they're my friend on Facebook. So now I'm just completely over it. And then, of course, you'll want to put up a couple of social media posts about your upcoming group. And then I'll talk a little bit about executing it. So how to move people from the event to the group or, from personal messages. And then how you're going to provide value and use that group to build relationships. So this is just an example monthly planning calendar that my team kind of uses. And this is just a pretty general, generic month. And it changes. We don't always necessarily do business sneak peeks on Thursday or even every Thursday, but our goal is to do at least 2 per month. And then, you can kind of see where typically my full challenge group is going to start that first Monday. And again, there's variations because now that Sean Week is coming, I'm actually pushing my challenge group back to start on that first day of Sean Week. And then I'll run it for a full 21 days. So 14 days after Sean Week. I just wanted to roll that into my group instead of having it be kind of in the middle, because I didn't know how I would invite to one challenge and then so it kind of threw me for a loop a little bit. So then you kind of decide, like, what's your weekly focus? All right, so the week that my challenge group starts, that's when I'm going to start inviting to my free group, because I've got everybody already set up in my challenge group. Now I can kind of focus on my free group, which will typically start around the 3rd week. So I'm going to use those first 2 weeks to invite to my free group. And then once I get my free group started, now my focus is going to be on inviting to my next challenge group. And we do a challenge group sneak peek the last week of the month that has been super, super helpful, where we just go and we explain what a challenge group is all about. So we take anybody that was in our free groups or anybody that we had invited to the challenge group, but maybe the conversation kind of, fell apart and, they didn't really answer back or whatever. I take every single person that I invited to anything. And at the very last week, I invite everybody to that challenge group sneak peek. And we throw a little bonus in where all they have to do is, if they watch the video and they fill out this little questionnaire, then they get entered in a drawing for a $50 gift card. So people are goofballs about that $50 gift card. Like, people that just completely started ignoring me 3 weeks ago, suddenly I mentioned a $50 gift card and they're like, pick me, I want to do that. So it doesn't have to be $50, but whatever it is, people like prizes. They like winning things. So, and people who I thought would not be interested in the challenge group, they sat in on that sneak peek and suddenly they were interested. So you just never know. If you have questions about the sneak peek, I'll share that maybe at the end, but I want to keep rolling with this. Okay, so here's the invite process. So you're going to set up your event. I suggest opening it up at least 2 weeks before the group. 2 weeks is a good rule of thumb, I think, because you want enough time for the process to kind of work, for people to, if you're boosting it, for people to start seeing it. Also, you want some time to be messaging. You want some time to be posting in the event page itself so that you're creating a little bit of a buzz about what's going on in there. Because if it's a public group, when you post in that group, other people can see it. So you can, kind of start to build some interest by just posting in the event page itself. I try to post, once a day or at least every other day. And I'll explain a little bit about what I do with the Google form, but I usually put my Google form link in the description of the event, and I ask them to fill that out. And then that way I have a way of capturing their email so that even if they, kind of fall off the radar for this group, they will now get added to my newsletter list and they'll hear about, any upcoming groups that I have. So like I said, you're dropping breadcrumbs, creating a little bit of a buzz. I also, in the description of my event, I don't know if I wrote this down here, but I ask them to send me a friend request. And then that way I don't have to worry about sending too many friend requests in one day or whatever. And I put the link right there. If we are not friends already, send me a friend request. I'll even put that on the Google form itself. So I'll do it both places. I'll do it in the description of the event and I'll do it on the Google form. And just make it almost like a check, okay, these are the things you need to do. Name, email, are we friends on Facebook? Here's the link. And then that way, like I said, I don't have to worry about sending friend requests for them to join the group or whatever. And of course, it's just an organic way to build your friends list and your network by having them do it. Share your enthusiasm, invite others to share with friends. And so that's another thing you can do is you can even offer prizes or figure out some sort of an incentive for people to invite their friends to the event. So you're just trying to create just a way to spread the love. And always, of course, you can entice with prizes and do that promotion or boost your event, like I said. So then while that's all happening, that's just going to kind of take care of itself. And in the meantime, you're going to be sending private messages. Like I said, I have no qualms about sending invites to free groups. I don't care who you are, you're going to get an invite. And then, so I'll try to do something personal. Usually I'll go to their page first. I'll like on a couple of their pictures, maybe comment on something so it doesn't come completely out of the blue. But I'll, make a statement, the whole CCQ thing. I'm going to comment, compliment, and ask a question, something to just kind of connect. And then, not sure if this would interest you. And this is just an example. I try to make it a little bit different each month, so I'm just not regurgitating the same message, but same idea. Just going to kind of give them a brief explanation of what the group's going to be like, and would you be interested in checking it out, or would you like to hear some more information about it? And I would say more than 50% of the time the answer is yes, because it's a free group. I'm not asking them to buy anything or do anything. Just, come and be in my group. And then, of course, you'll want to do some social media posts too, every maybe 2 to 3 days leading up to the group. Use your profile page too. Facebook is such a crazy place. You just never know. Sometimes your like page gets a lot of traction. And right now I feel like your profile page is getting a lot of traction. So definitely, if you've got both pages, don't ignore your profile page. You'll want to, share some sort of invite or information about it. And, of course, as always, pictures of yourself work best, or your adorable kids, or, whatever it is, but just making it a personal picture with a really personal post about, something. And at the very end, tie it in like, well, and by the way, hey, I'm doing a free group next week. If you're interested, comment below, give them some sort of call to action. I like comment belows because that just makes sure that more people are going to see that in their newsfeed, because Facebook sees that it's a popular post. So I like to have them comment below, and I'll send them, the link, or send them the information or whatever. And here's a bonus tip. Something that has been super effective for me is, I don't want to keep using my adorable kids, but it doesn't have to be an adorable kid. It can be just a really pretty picture of like an awesome recipe that you made. Make it pretty. Like, it has to be pretty, like scroll stopping pretty, or it has to be an adorable kid. And you say, oh, this is one of our favorite recipes, buffalo chicken strips. Comment below if you want the recipe. And oh my Lord, the last time I did it, poor Jody, the person who helps me out with some of this stuff, I think she had to send like over 100 messages to people. So then you have them comment below that they want the recipe, and then all you do is you just copy and paste. To me, I had this recipe on my blog, but it doesn't even have to be on your blog. It can just be a recipe that you use online, and you could just send them the link to it. It doesn't even matter, but it's a great way to start a message with people. And then you can say, oh, hey, by the way, next week I'm doing a group where I'm sharing a bunch of, family-friendly recipes. Would you be interested? So, it's kind of a cool way to get some conversations going. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, like I said, make it personal, use your own pictures, tell your own story, include a call to action. Oh, yeah, see, I said all those things. Okay, so just really quickly, okay, how did I do this before? All right, so I have to exit this one, right? Because I want to, okay, no, here's what we do. I don't know what I just did. All right. Hold, please. I don't know what that is. Okay. So to make a Google form, I feel like you probably already know how to do this. I mean, Jen, you've probably shown your people how to do this, right?
It's been a while, but yeah, we did a training on Google Forms a while back. So
okay. So you can all see this. I won't be like super crazy, in depth with this, but you're just going to go to your Google form. Well, yeah, I mean, you probably all know how to do this. So, I mean, basically you're just going to build out your form. You're going to ask your questions. And then, it's going to give you the link to that. And that's the link I'm talking about including in the description of your event. And this is just a great way to capture, like I said, all of those people who are interested in your event, whether they end up following through or not, you still have a way of connecting with them. And now going back to my little bonus tip about the recipe, another thing that you can do is you can use these Google Forms as if they are a website, like a landing page, because it has a link, and you can really make this look pretty nice. You can change this banner up here at the front to be a specific picture. You can import So I was showing my friends or some of the girls on my team this because, not everybody has a web page. So, I mean, you can import some pictures in here. So if you want to bring in one of your recipes, this is just the first picture that I saw. This was from my Healthy Kids, How to Pack Your Lunch type group. So, you can put a picture in here, and then you can, let's see here. How did I do this before? Oh yeah, so here then I would say name, email. I would, fill in these forms, name and email. And then when I go to, where's the page? Oh yeah, here. So on the part where the confirmation message, where usually they would get your response has been recorded. So so for instance, I had, like I said, over 100 people who wanted that recipe. I could have just sent them the link to my form. They would just fill out their name, their email, there's the picture of my recipe or whatever. And then the confirmation message would say, here's the recipe. Here is the recipe, blah, blah, blah. And then you can type out the whole recipe here or whatever you want to do. And then, I'm just going to show you, blah, blah, blah. Here's the recipe. It's got all this stuff in it. And then save. So then when they answer their thing, you submit it, and now they're going to get my recipe. It's just going to pop right up. So I think that's kind of a fun little way, again, to collect more emails and names of people who you're talking to.
I love, you showed me that a couple months ago, and I absolutely love that. I think that.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to, if I had more time, I could really show you. You can add video to it. You can add pictures. You can add links. You can really just make it look like a landing page. So, for instance, I've used it for challenge group. We all have. If you have your like page, you can have the little button. Here, let me just remember how I get out of here.
I think it was presenter view. Okay, there you go.
So if you go to your like page, close some of these. We've all got these little things here where we can make it say learn more, we can make it say sign up, we can make it say whatever we want to say. Well, why not create a Google form where you put that link in and make that be about your next challenge group. So for instance, when you click mine, I do happen to have a blog, but you could so easily do this with a Google page. So all I do is I update this every single month with what my new groups are. And you could just really, really easily do this with a Google form where you just show, what your new groups are. I've got Healthy Kids 101. I've got my Wake and Shake Challenge. You could do all of this in a Google form. You can have them click the box if they want to join it. My Sean Week information. So, obviously once a month I go in and I update this and change it to what all my current groups are. And so, but it's a static page. The link never changes, and it would be the same with your Google form. All you'd have to do is go back in and change the material on it, but it's still essentially the same. And then you can do one that just tells more about what a challenge group is. And there can be a YouTube video in there of you explaining what a challenge group is, and then a place for them to provide, I want more information on this, and then you can reach out to them. So anyway, bonus tips. Sorry.
Yay. Love bonus tips.
I do love Google Drive. I get it. It makes sense to me. I created this slideshow with Google. So, it's all just, it just makes sense to me, like I said. Okay, so now once you're in your free group, you're going to open the group first. Now you're done with your event, and now you're going to move everybody over to a group. And of course, if you're doing it on Facebook, this is kind of what I'm talking about, because there's really not a whole lot you can do with the Challenge Tracker app except for, put your picture in there. But obviously there's, a whole different protocol. So if you're moving people into the Challenge Tracker app, you're going to make sure you've got all their emails and make sure they're all signed up to have you as their free coach and, blah, blah, blah. So this is essentially, I guess, more for my free groups. I tend to always do on Facebook because I don't really see the need to use a Challenge Tracker for a free group. So open the group, put up your banner, do all that kind of stuff before you start adding people to it. And then within the group, like I said, you're just going to provide a ton of value, get people involved and participating and engaged and messaging them on the side, ask them how they're doing. And for me personally, I don't want to reinvent the wheel every time I run a free group. So I save all of it. I save my posts, I save my pictures, I save all of it so that I can just use it again. And of course, as the group is running, like I said, I'm behind the scenes, I'm messaging people, talking to them. And that's when, like I mentioned, I will also invite them to the sneak peek of my next challenge group. So I'll be inviting them privately as well, but I'll post in the group about my next sneak peek and explain a little bit about that at the same time that I'm also sending private messages. Private messages always work better, but the sneak peek, you can always post about that inside of the free group too. So then after your free group, what's next? So that's when you're going to touch base with everybody again, and you're going to ask them for some feedback. Just wanted to check in and see what you thought about the whatever group last month. Did you find it helpful? And, they're going to message back. Of course, they're going to say, I loved it. It was fantastic. And then you're going to say, great. I'm so glad you liked the group. I'm starting a new group next month where we're going to focus on daily exercise and nutrition, sticking to your New Year's goals. Obviously, this was my January group. I'll share daily tips, recipes, meal plans, ideas, etc. Great for busy women / moms trying to fit it all in. Are you interested in some more info about it? Obviously, you can use your own words, but I essentially send something like that. Always, and you all know this, always end every single message with a question. And then that's when I start my interview process. Every message, I do not ever, well, I'm not going to say never, because when I first started coaching, I was a word vomiter extraordinaire. But now I take all of it in bite-sized little pieces. So the first, when they say, yes, I want some information about it, because of course they do. Then you're going to say, awesome. What are your goals? I usually give them a few examples, like any special events coming up, just want to feel fit and healthy for summer, blah, blah, blah. So they're going to answer that. And I'm going to say, super. Now tell me a little bit about your workout experience. What are some exercises that you've liked in the past? What about dislike? Do you have any specific restrictions? So I want to know a little bit more about their workout experience. They're going to answer those questions, and I'm going to say, that's awesome. Now let's talk about nutrition. What are your specific struggles? Do you have issues with, and I will specifically ask, portion control? Hello. What about late night snacking? What about meal planning? We can solve all of these problems. So I'm going to ask them for specific information about their nutrition struggles. And then this could be minutes later, this could be hours later, and this could be days, weeks, or months later when they have finally decided that they're going to make it to the end of that process with you. Based on their answers, I'll give them a recommendation. And of course, now that we have Beachbody On Demand, the whole process is changed a little bit for me. But, now mostly I'm sharing with them that I'm going to help them pick the specific program that's going to be a good fit for them. But that if for any reason it's not, great, you've got hundreds of other workout programs to pick from, but I still do try to help them pick a program to start with. I feel like they need some direction, not just like, super, there's 5,000 workouts to pick from, good luck, so I do want to help them with that process and get them excited about a specific program. Okay. So more of what's next. So I ask them if they're familiar with the program or with Beachbody On Demand or whatever. And I always, when they say, oh no, I've never heard of that, then I say, can I send you a quick video? And then I like to use the hot list. If you go to 411 Team Beachbody Coach 411 or something website, every month they update with what the new promotions are. And again, like I said, it's gotten a little bit different since there aren't the same type of challenge pack promotions. It's just the Beachbody On Demand, but they did just make a brand new video at the beginning of this month that explains the challenge pack and the price, the way it is and stuff. And those videos I like a lot. So that's the video I always send. And then I try to share a testimonial or some results hopefully from challengers that I've had in my own groups, but if not, I'll grab something but I mean, really I've had enough success stories now and I've collected enough that I'll say, check out my friend who did 2 rounds of the 21-day fix before her son got married. And her pictures are awesome. Her results are crazy. And I think that people just, get a sense, I know this person, this is, This isn't just some random picture that I grabbed from Beachbody. I actually know this person. She was in my group and she got those results. So the more you can use your own transformation stories from your own group, I think that those are the most effective. Or, go into the bigger coach groups and ask people for theirs. And then at least you have a little bit more of a link. Okay, once you've gotten to that point, then you say, by that point, they're usually going to say, how much does it cost? And here's my tip. I never send prices in messages ever. I will never say, oh, it's $160. That's probably the last time you're ever going to hear from them. Although it's worth every penny, I want them to see the value of that package. So I will send them the link for whatever it is. I always start with the challenge pack. I will send them that link, and then I want them to see it. Like I said, I want them to see that they're getting access to, oh my gosh, all of this stuff, all of these programs. They're also getting this amazing meal plan, and they're also getting 30 days of Shakeology, and it takes up this whole page of of your computer. And I mean, mind blown. Now they can see what they're getting for $160. I can't even remember the last time I typed a price in a message. That's just not how I like to do it. I want them to see it. It's super important for me. And then, like I said, and then I'm going to invite them to my next challenge group sneak peek. If we didn't get to the finished product, if they weren't like, oh my God, sign me up. I'm totally doing this. I'm doing it now. I'm ordering right now. And I'm going to sit on the edge of my couch and wait very patiently for this group. If we didn't quite get to that point, then I'm going to say, hey, if you're still not sure, why don't you come check out my challenge group sneak peek, next week or whatever. Because by this time, it's probably going to be close to that time. I hope all that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Okay, so just some tips. This is something that I started doing a while back that has saved me a ton of time. When I first started coaching, I can't tell you how many times I had to call Coach Relations to tell them somebody ordered this challenge pack, but they had another coach and they meant to order it through me. Could you switch? And oh my God, it was, hours I used to spend on the phone trying to do this. Whereas if you just use the Coach mobile app, and again, I'm sure you all know this, but I use even if I don't use the Coach mobile app to send the link at the end, I use it somewhere in that interview process where we're talking about goals and whatever. When we get to the point where we're talking about links, I say, oh, could you send me your email address? Sometimes they're like, well, why? But sometimes they don't. They just give me their email address. I quick run it through the Coach mobile app because I want to know if the links that I'm sending them are actually going to go through me or if they're going to go through some other person. So I plug it into the Coach mobile app, and if it says the red box comes up and says, this person is already in the system, this person already has a coach, blah, blah, blah. Then I can go back to them and say, oh, I just ran your email. It looks like you're already in the system under a different coach. Are you working with someone? And of course, again, you know all this. And then if they say, no, I didn't even know I had a coach, you'll say, okay, cool. It's super easy to switch. Would you like me to tell you how? And then I give them the information to fill out the quick form. Bing, bing, boom, they're under me. Now I can send them the links and I don't have to worry about whether or not it'll go through me. So that's just kind of how I have eliminated that nightmare. And then along the way during the month, you have to be tracking. I use Teamsy. I know Jen uses Teamsy. I know Carrie uses Teamsy. That helps me keep track of what I'm doing, because the second somebody responds, if I say, I've got a new group starting next month, are you interested? And they say yes, bam, they get a tag in Teamsy that says June 2017. So I know this person is this much interested in my June 2017 group. So that by the end of the month, I've usually got probably a list of at least 20 or 30 or more names. Even if only 2 of them have really seriously been considering the group, I've got all these people to follow up with about my challenge group sneak peek. So you can do that on paper. You can do that on an Excel spreadsheet. You can do it wherever you do it, but do it. Make sure that you're tracking all the people that you're talking to, and where they are in the different stages of that process, so that you have a good system and people don't get lost in the shuffle. I was very bad at that at the beginning. Teamsy kind of saved my life. I'm not gonna lie. So again, some of those things the messages I was telling you, those are some basic sort of scripts that I use. Like I said, I do try to change it up a teensy bit so it doesn't always sound the same, but I use Google Keep. And Jen, I was kind of showing Jen how I do it. It's really just, if you're not familiar with it, it's all just tied into the Google machine. I don't know if you can see this, but so it's just an app on my phone, and you can also use it on your computer, and it just brings up a bunch of sticky notes, and you can color code them. And so, like, you know, different colors mean different things. I don't know if you can see this at all, but I do try to keep the scripts that I'm using or the information that I need to access. You can pin the notes to the top. So for instance, at the top right now, I have my challenge group invite scripts. I have my Instagram tags, because I just copy and paste them into Instagram when I post a picture. And I have my whole Sean Week script here, where I can just go in as soon as somebody talks to me or I'm talking to them about Sean Week. I'm going to go in, and depending on where we're at in the conversation, I can, for the most part, copy and paste, change up a few little words here and there so that it's more personalized to the person that I'm talking to. But it's just kind of I use it for a lot of different things. Just think sticky notes, only it's on your phone or on your laptop or whatever. And you can move the notes around, you can color code, you can pin to the top, and you can access them from any place, your computer, your phone, whatever. So I use that to kind of keep things straight. Import email. Oop, how did I do that? I don't know what I did. Oh, I go back. Okay, here we go. Import emails from your Google Forms. So all of those people who filled out your form and they provided their emails, now you need to take those emails and put them somewhere. I use MailChimp. I know there's Constant Contact, but that's a way that I can keep in touch with customers that have been assigned to me from Beachbody, people that have filled out various forms for either freemiums or recipes or these free groups that I'm running. I just always make sure that I'm collecting all those emails and putting them somewhere. I like to ask for feedback in the group towards the end of the group, and then share those testimonials on social media so that when you're inviting to your next groups, you've got, you know, these little blurbs that you can share. And recently too, I've been asking people if they would feel okay about leaving a review for me on my like page. I love reading reviews. I am a review freak on Amazon. I won't even buy something if it doesn't have, 4.5 and above stars. I need to know that things are, that people like it. So Jenny asked me to share some of my favorite apps, and I don't know if there's anything like earth-shattering. I know she was particularly impressed that I was able to, but I'm pretty impressed actually. My husband, when he looks at that picture, I think the one that Jen's talking about, I photoshopped Jericho, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I photoshopped my coach. Yeah, that's what it was. I photoshopped my coach into the picture because she had to take her picture separately. And so I photoshopped her in, and you literally can't tell. And obviously I didn't Photoshop, but I used an app on my phone, and I'm trying to remember which one it was, Jen. I'm like, I know. I think it was PixArt. Let me just double check. I'm looking at it right now. I think it was my PixArt app. If it wasn't PixArt, then it was the other one that I mentioned. Hold on. This is okay. Let's see. It might have been this one. Nope. Hold on. Yeah, it was this one. It was PixArt. So you just have your picture, and you kind of highlight the part that you want to cut out, and then you go to the next screen, and you have to have a good picture, that has a pretty defined background. So ideally, like you're standing in front of a blank wall or something like that, those are going to be the best pictures to use. But yeah, I mean, I just did this really quickly, and it was a picture of me jumping outside. So there's like a lot of trees and things like that, but it did a pretty good job. I mean, I just kind of, so this is a good way where you can cut your background out and then have a picture that you can, put yourself in a forest or on a boat in the middle of the ocean. Yeah. So I like to play around with these things, and it just cracks me up because when I first started coaching, I didn't know anything about anything. I couldn't change my profile picture on my Facebook. I didn't know that Instagram was social media. I thought it was just a really fun little picture app until somebody liked one of my pictures and it was confusing. I didn't know how that happened. So Pixar, Snapseed, PhotoGrid, PS Express was the other one that I thought maybe I had used. PS Express does a great job of getting rid of red eyes and funny pet eyes and things like that. Also, there's a lot of great filters on that one. Insta Beauty, my friend Carrie and Jen will know that one gets a little addictive because it makes you beautiful.
Just don't Snapchat it.
What, Carrie?
I said just don't Snapchat about it.
Right. So Insta Beauty is fun. PicTap Go is one I've been messing around with because you can layer different filters. And if you're using Instagram, especially, one thing that I've been trying to figure out how to do is if you constantly use the same filter or the same, like I said, if you layer the same filters, your Instagram starts to take on like uniformity and it starts to look a lot nicer. So just keeping that in mind, that if you're stuck on a specific filter, use that filter for, a lot of your pictures, and it'll just make your pictures all look really nice. You look at Jericho McMatthew's Instagram and you'll know what I'm talking about. All of her pictures have like a pinky kind of a hue to them. It looks really cool. To add text, I don't add a ton of text to my pictures anymore. I think when we first started coaching, we were adding so much text to our pictures, like you couldn't even see the person's face. There were quotes everywhere and words and arrows and drawings and things like that. So I do try to keep it a little more simple now. I do still add words, but I try to keep it really simple. I think that Facebook has started not really favoring pictures that tend to look like advertisements. So if it looks like a commercial, somehow Facebook knows these things. So I do just try to keep my pictures a little bit cleaner. Don't add a ton of words. But if I do, I use something like WordSwag, or Fonto is kind of my, I've used it forever because I used to have it on my Android phone, and I was really, really happy that my iPhone had it too. And Jen, was there something specific you wanted me to talk about with Fonto? Because I know you mentioned that one specifically. Was there something I showed you with it?
The one thing, I'll just say it, the one thing that I really like about Fonto is that app has the ability to curve your text.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where not a lot of them do that, or they have one set curve and that's all you can do. With Fonto, you can type, a huge sentence and put a little curve on it, or put a big, or make it into a circle. I mean, that's the one thing I really, really like about Fonto.
It's a pretty basic app in terms of like, how to use it. And, but there are like some nice features. You can add color behind the words if you want to
shadowing, color shadowing. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can do shadow and you can do stroke and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of my go-to if I just want simple, words or curves or something like that. And then just for basic organization things, I already mentioned most everything. I use Keep for my scripts and all of like my Instagram tags and all that kind of stuff. When I have ideas for posts, I have a note, a Keep, whatever, a Post-it thing, where I will write down, or I'll even talk into it to say like what my ideas are for posts, or blogs or things like that. So just a place for me to brain dump, because I am not so good at remembering things. And so that helps a lot. And then obviously the last thing I mentioned was reminders. I just cannot remember anything. So everything I need to do goes in my, just my simple reminders on my iPhone. And I just tell Siri to, I'll be in the car and I'll say, oh my God, I have to mail those samples to Jen. And I'll pick up my phone and say, Siri, remind me to mail those samples to Jen. And then boop, it's there. And so I have to do that just to keep my head screwed on straight. And even still, it's pretty crooked. So I do my best. And that's it, you guys. I hope that was helpful.
That was awesome, Angie. You covered so much information. I mean, there was a ton of stuff in there. Thank you so much.
I kind of blabbed a lot. I'm sorry.
No, it was great. It was very, very good. I know we have a small group here, but does anybody have any questions about anything that she covered? that we can ask her real quick? And if not, we can just have anybody ask. And because I know there's a lot of people that needed to watch the recording. Some people are going to bed really early these days, which I don't blame them at all. But yeah, if there's, I guess that's it. And chat looks like Chastity hopped off. So what we'll do is if anybody comes up with anything, I'll make sure I post the recording in our team pages. Angie, I'll get you the recording as well so you can share it. And then if any questions come up, we will ask Angie and see what she says. But thank you so much. It was a great presentation. Fantastic. Yes. I love your slideshow. It was wonderful. So
thank you for inviting me.
Oh, that was great. I mean, I even learned a couple things and reminded me again, use forms on everything. Oh my gosh, Angie's so good with the forms and I love the way she does it. And if we want to do another training on Google Forms, I would be happy to do that at some point because that's something that really, really is a good thing to use. And they're so easy to make fun and do things with. So
totally.
So all right, you guys. Again, thank you so much, Angie. This was great.
You're very, very welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Very welcome. Bye, Carrie.
Have a great evening. I am going to end the recording.